Hey, this is Peter. I'm here to give my take on the game Spore. Jonathan Yee wrote a print article and I'm here to give some visuals so you get a better understanding of how it plays. Spore comes from the developers of the mega franchise The Sims and boils down millions of years of human development into about 24 hours of gameplay. The game itself is comprised of 5 different stages. In the cell stage, you start from a single-celled organism, then evolve onto land in the creature stage. The tribal stage comes next, followed by the civilization stage, and it's off to space, the final frontier. The cell stage is presented like an arcade shooter sans the shooting. You can use your mouse or keyboard to maneuver your microscopic creation to eat little balls of food. When you've eaten enough, you get bigger, and the sense of scale is conveyed here really well. When you're in the mood for love, you can call for a mate. This brings us to the part of the game that really separates itself from everything else in the market, the creature creator. This tool pops up at every stage of the game in different forms. In the cell stage, you're pretty much limited to adding or removing eyes, changing color, or sticking on some flagella for speed. As we'll see, this tool becomes much more powerful while still remaining incredibly easy and intuitive to use. Once you've eaten enough plant or animal bits, you can gain the all-important ability of walking. This brings us to the creature stage, and now you can see the true potential of the creature creator. Adding and removing appendages is easy as dragging and dropping, and understanding all of the options at your disposal is represented with intuitive sliders. The amazing thing about this is no matter how complicated your design, it's realistically and fluidly animated, bringing your creation to life. In terms of gameplay for the stage, you're basically making friends with other creatures on your planet. And you go about doing this by mimicking their abilities like dancing or posing. It's really simplistic, and this is an idea you'll hear me say a lot. The various stages are like snapshots of other games, and would never be fulfilling on their own. But taken as a package, the game succeeds, if only because of the amazing power of the creature creator. Once you meet enough creatures, you discover the power of tools, as demonstrated in this parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now at the tribal stage, the game becomes a very basic real-time strategy game where you take over other tribes either by force or diplomacy. You can buy buildings that represent different tools that give your creatures abilities. A gathering staff allows your creature to collect fruit faster, while weapons allow you to destroy other villages. Instruments let you peacefully ally yourself with other tribes through a simple Simon Says game where they show you to sign up an instrument, and you click on the corresponding button. Like I said, it's really simple, and the creature creator at this stage only lets you add adornments to your character and not actually change them fundamentally. The 4th stage is the appropriately named civilization stage. I say appropriate because it looks and plays much like a dumbed-down game of Sid Meier's Civilization, even down to the color boundary lines. You now control a city with buildings and vehicles. The creature creator has geometric shapes for you to create buildings like houses and factories, or vehicles like cars and even planes. There are elements of city management games a la SimCity, only again very simplified. There's a puzzle involved in maximizing city happiness while ensuring you're making enough money to build more vehicles. The goal of this section is to overtake neighboring civilizations either by religion or military. Strategy-wise, the differences are negligible as victory boils down to having enough money to buy enough vehicles to have enough power to overtake the other cities. Some fun comes from balancing relationships with other civilizations while slowly overtaking all of them. The final and arguably deepest part of the game is the space portion. Now you get to design your very own spaceship and explore the universe. Spore has been described as a massively single-player online game, meaning you never interact with other players, but the influence is seen all around. In the space portion, you can actually fly to other planets people have created, which include all their designs for buildings and creatures. The good or bad news, depending on how you look at it, is that what's done by other players on your planet has no effect on your game. You're not going to turn on the game only to see all your hard work demolished. But at the same time, you lack direct connection with other players. The goal of the space stage is to create colonies and meet new species throughout the universe. And unlike a sandbox game like The Sims, Spore has a definite ending. So where does that leave us? On the one hand, we have an amazing creative tool for creating creatures, buildings, and vehicles that really makes the game your own. And on the other, we have a shallow offering of different gameplay styles that never seem to make a completely cohesive experience. Still, it can be very fun, especially if you haven't played every strategy game out there. On a side note, the game employs a form of digital rights management that some players are calling excessive. You can only install and activate the game 3 times before you need to call the publisher, Electronic Arts, and ask for more. If you don't, you're left with a $50 coaster. What's worse is uninstalling the game has no effect on the activation count. I've reformatted my computer more than 3 times in the past 2 years, so this is a pretty important issue. The Spore page on Amazon.com has been flooded by customers who decry such methods by EA and have overwhelmingly lowered the score to a single star. While some find this a bigger issue than others, it's something to keep in mind. The game certainly has its moments of brilliance, but otherwise is far from perfect. It's very quick and easy to beat, but the community and creativity aspect will have many players returning for years to come.